Rashi, we are in Parshas Teitzei. We're going out to battle. We are in the sixth reading. Today's learning is in honor of the Neshama Yortzeit, seventh Yortzeit of a dear friend of mine. His son is here today with us. By the way, this is online. Now, not just here. We learn here and online.
I watch online.
The Neshama of my dear friend Reb Shalom and Yosef Yekusil Zusha, seventh Yortzeit. Very special soul that engaged many people, brought many people closer to Hashem, to Torah mitzvahs. From Montreal originally, and lived in Israel for many years, and would always come back here and be with us here. Yeah, I can picture the last time we were together, Kiddush. Anyways, l'chaim to his neshama. So we are in Devarim 24, verse number 5. Okay, when a man takes a woman, chadasha, a new wife, he takes a new wife. He shouldn't go out to the army. Nor should he be, anything pass over him for anything, meaning he shouldn't be associated with anything that's subject to the army. He should be free. Remain free for his home. Shana echas, 1 year. And he should delight his wife. That he took. Oh, lots of stuff over here. Let's see Rashi. In Pasuk, Isha Chadasha, what does it mean, a new wife? Like, as opposed to an old wife? She has to be young. You have to marry young. Is that what it's saying? Well, let's see Rashi. What does it mean, a new wife? Shehi Chadash Aloi means that she's new to him. Even if she's a widow. But to him, she's a new wife. That excludes someone who's taking back his divorced wife. As we learned yesterday, you could take back your divorced wife as long as she didn't marry someone in the interim. But if he took back a divorced wife, then this law would not apply. He should not be obligated, meaning literally to pass over him. Davar tzava, anything that has to do with the army, he has got no obligation. L'chol davar, for all matters, shu tzarech hatzava, for the requirement of the army, the sapik mayim u'mozim, which means, for example, neither to supply water or food, not to fix the roads. In other words, when it comes to war, to a battle, there are many things that are involved that don't have to do with being on the front. Even those things, to fix the wars, to fix the roads rather, and so on, bring water, those things he should not do. But they return from the battlefront formation al pi koyin, by the word of the koyin. Kigoyin, for example, bana bayis v'loy chanchay. So someone who built a house and has not inaugurated it, or eretz isha v'loy lacha, or he betrothed a woman and he did not yet marry her. And they do supply water and food and fix the roads. In other words, it's only someone who is not just betrothed, but is fully married, and not someone who built a home, right, a new home. Those people do help in the army effort, but not the front lines. That's the difference. And we had that from last week in the parsha, if you recall. That's the diuk that Rashi is making over here. The exactiness. He should be for his house, free for his house, af bishvil beisai, for his house as well as im bonabayis, if he built a house and inaugurated it, v'im nata kerem, and he planted a vineyard, and he did already render it profane, so he doesn't budge from his house, bishvil tzarchei milchama, for the requirements of war, lebeisai. When it says here in the verse, for his house, zeb beisai, this means over here his house, shall be l'rabbeis karmai, to include his vineyard. It should have said Naki Hula Beisai, that he is free for his house. But that's what the verse says. Yela Beisai, you should be for his house. It means it's to include something else. It's to include the vineyard. That's what Rashi's coming to say. V'simach, Yisamach is Ishta, you should gladden his wife. Targum of Yafte Yasi to say, Uncle says, he shall translate it to gladden his wife. V'amitargim Yafte Yim to say, and he who renders, who explains it, that he shall be glad with his wife. Toyehu, he's mistaken. Shein Targum shall v'simach. That's not the translation of the word simach. Ella shall v'samach, but rather the word samach. So, what it's saying over here, it doesn't mean because you're going to make your wife happy that you'll be happy. Why are you going to be happy? Your mitzvah is to make your wife happy, but that doesn't mean through that you're going to be happy. Huh? What does it mean then? Because you're going to be happy regardless of your wife. That's what it means. Right? Regardless. Okay, verse number 6. Lo So this is talking about taking from a poor person a security. You lent a person money and you want a security. So you shouldn't take the lower or the upper millstone as a security, because you're ki nefesh hu chayvel, because chayvel means here security, right? Rechaim is the lower millstone, verechev is the upper millstone. That's the grinding stone that people use for their livelihood. So don't take that which is necessary for someone's livelihood as a security for the loan that you give them. Let's see Rashi in 6. Yachvol, you should not take the mill or grind stone as a pledge of security. If he comes to collect a collateral for a debt in court, lo yimashchenu, should not take the collateral with things that he prepares food, because he's preparing. I thought it was making a livelihood from this. It's a preparation of food, but not necessarily. Does it mean only his food? I would think that that's the parnasa, the livelihood is making, but Rashi is saying that to prepare food. Yeah, I know, but the question is, the millstone that you're using is usually because through this you're making your livelihood. You're also making your own food. But Rashi seems to be limiting it, that it's for your own food. In other words, it's for your livelihood, because the halacha is, we learn at Rambam, that if it's for someone's livelihood, right, then you have to give them those, you have to give them those utensils so they could make a livelihood. You can't take that away from a person as a security. So, but Rashi sounds like he's only saying it for food. I don't know why would he say that?
Perhaps this is all households have these items.
They what?
All households have these items. So seeing that it's in every household, if you take it away from someone, they would
maybe. Okay, maybe.
Or maybe you can take the livelihood.
No, the Torah, the Rashi's focusing on the fact. It says ki nefesh ukova. On the word.
Right.
The word nefesh.
So maybe that's only eichel nefesh.
And to Rashi, comes in, right?
Right.
Because it didn't have to say nefesh.
Right. So even though in halacha, that's not necessarily pshuta shemikra. Rashi has only come for pshuta shemikra. So I think Abba, what you're saying is correct. Since it says the word nefesh over here, so it means soul. So it means the personal stuff of your own food that you need to live off, right? To invigorate your soul. Right. I think you're right. Even though in halacha it wouldn't be that way, but halacha doesn't have to learn from Pshuta Shemikra. It could be, it can be learned from another means. But Rashi learning the simple meaning of the text, so taka that would make sense. Okay, shkoyach. Rechaim, a mill. That's the lower millstone. Berechev, the grindstone, hu elyoina is the upper one. Interesting that next to, and Rashi doesn't pick up on it, because often he does, taking a Isha Chadasha that you don't go to war or do anything, and then it's speaking about a millstone, about a security. What's the connection between the two? Rashi often brings a relationship, but here he doesn't. And the truth is, there's a lot of different things now that are going to come up that it seemingly don't connect one with the other. And maybe in Pshuto Shemikra, the simple meaning, there isn't a question here. And therefore Rashi doesn't address it. Okay, number 7. When you will find a person, goinev nefesh, that he is stealing a soul, meaning kidnapping, me'echav of his brothers, b'nei Israel, from the children of Israel, and he's amar boy, and he's amar boy means he's making him work like a slave. Or mochrei, then he sells him. Or me'esagan vahu, and then that thief dies. No, umeisakam, he shall be put to death. In other words, and you shall clear out the evil from amongst you. Rashi in number 7. So this is speaking about kidnapping. Ki motze, when you find the Eidim Vasra. What do you mean you found? How did you find them? You found them with witnesses to the sin and warned preceding to the sin that you're going to get the death sentence for this, and they acknowledge. And likewise, every instance is that it means that there were witnesses. What do you mean he's found? Found how? It was found with witnesses to be guilty.
Don't you always need witnesses for death sentence?
But that's what he said. No, yeah, I know, but that's not what Rashi. Yes, it's true what you're saying. But Rashi is being exacting on the word yimatze. It's an unusual word to use in the instance. What do you mean you find? You discovered. So what did you discover? It means witnesses discovered the situation and bear testimony and gave and forewarned the individual, right? So that's what Rashi is saying, that word, that's what it means. Okay? And he slaves him. He's not liable for the death penalty until he uses him to perform some kind of labor. In other words, this is part of the detail of when he becomes obligated for the death sentence in kidnapping. In other words, if he didn't use him out, right, then for menial labor as a slave, then he wouldn't be liable. You still can't do it. It's still a prohibition. But the question is the death penalty. You might ask the question, what's the difference? You use him or not? That's what the verse is saying. That's what the Torah is telling us. Okay, number 8. Wow, look at this is like one thing. Avant, what's the Lashon? Yeah, totally jumping around. Be cautious when it comes to the nega, the lesion of tzaras, the affliction of tzaras, the skin disease, to be very careful, and to do and to do everything in accordance that you have been shown to do, hakohanim, by the kohanim alevim that are Levites, and as they command you, so you should observe. Rashi in number 8. You should be careful that the tzaras affliction, that you shouldn't tear away the signs of impurity. And you should not cut off the beheres. Wow, interesting. So Rashi is taking it like in a very obvious, simple manner. What do you mean be careful? Be careful with it, with the affliction. How do you be careful with the affliction? Well, don't tear it off, right? Because if there's white hairs there, that will make you afflicted. You're not allowed to do that. And therefore, in accordance to what the Kohen tells you to do, that's what you need to follow. Rashi, in accordance to everything that the Kohanim and the Levites will instruct you, if you have to close yourself off, or if you've been definitively declared to have this impure affliction, v'im l'tayr, or to declare you pure. Verse number 9. Zachor, remember. This is one of the 6 remembrance that we have to have every day. You have to remember everything that Hashem, your God, did to Miriam, but derech, on the pathway, but say some Mitzrayim, going out of Egypt. Rashi. Zachor is Miriam. Remember everything that God did to Miriam. If you wish to take care, not to be stricken with tzaras. So this is connected with the previous verse, because the previous verse was about the skin disease, and that's what she had. So if you want to be not to be stricken with tzaras, al tisabim lashon hara. Don't speak derogatory lashon hara. Remember what was done to Miriam. She spoke against her brother Moshe, and therefore she was stricken with the affliction of tzaras. So that's the connection between the two. Interesting. Didn't we already know this from Parshas Matzera that tzaras is an affliction, a skin disease affliction from speaking lashon hara?
Yeah.
So the fact that Torah here is adding to that. What's it adding? What does it need to add over here? So Zachor, it means like it's one of the 6 remembrances. In other words, this is something. In other words, it's just giving a much more stronger emphasis that not to speak lashon hara because of look what will happen, as happened to Miriam.
Not just a reminder, it's expert.
Yeah. Lo sashe bereyecha ma'aseis me'umma. You should not lend to your friend any item that you should not come into his house to take the security. Rashi in 10. When you obligate your friend, when you lend him something, a debt of anything, don't enter his home to take security. What should you do then? You lent him money and you're waiting for the security. Next verse, you have to stand outside. And the person that you are lending to, the loan, by he should now come to you as and he should bring the security outside to you. As you don't go into someone's. It's very interesting what the idea over here is that you think you lend somebody interest-free loan, and I want security. So I have a right now to go into that person's home, right? Because that guy's not coming forward with the security. No, you're not allowed to. That person has to come to you and bring it to you, the security for the loan. You don't have the right to intrude in his home. So, very interesting.
But should that be obvious?
Why? No.
Go into someone's
I lent somebody a free loan. The guy's not coming forward now, right? So I might think, let me go into the house. I'm going to take something. I'm only taking something that we made up that's going to be a security for my loan that I'll get paid back. So what am I doing wrong? Well, Terry's saying it's wrong. Abba.
So this pasuk and the next couple of psukim, they're dealing with issues of even if you have certain rights, right? Like the rights of the worker, the rights of the poor take precedence. What's interesting, we were talking before, what's the connection between the whole thing about the millstone and it's interesting because the placement of what's where, the millstone pasuk should be connected to the next sequence of psukim.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Very.
The piece in the middle in terms of the kidnapping the brothers and
Tzaras.
The millstone pasuk is out of place, and it's interesting. Not everything's connected, or at least
Right.
we understand, but it's not where it should be in the next cluster of
Yeah.
economic related.
Very, very good point.
business
Very good
related.
point.
I can't even hazard a guess as to why, but it's not in the right spot.
Yeah.
Somebody thinks-
So one thing about Taras is one thing, because you might speak ill You might speak ill of the person that you're lending money to because he's not coming forth with the security, right? So maybe you could see that somehow, right? But kidnapping?
But the kidnapping fits in the context of what the kid.
How?
It's not kidnapping, it's economic kidnapping for it's economic slavery. It's taking, whether I'm taking your shirt or your house or your child, it's an economic move
Right.
in this context, right? It's not some. kidnapping.
Okay, good.
So all of a sudden, things are fitting more, right?
Right. Yeah, okay.
The Tzara piece, now, maybe that's more the outlier. And the question is, what does this commandment to remember this whole thing about Miriam? What does the slander have to do with?
Well, if you lend somebody money, and that person's not coming forward with the collateral, right? You might come to slander that person easily, right? So you're holding my slander, and now what's next? You're going to go into the home and you're going to go take what's rightfully mine. We made up, they're giving me collateral. You're not coming forward, right?
Yeah.
So that might be the connection, right? I mean, Rashi's not picking up on it, but for some reason it's not Pshuta Shel Mikra, for whatever reason. But seemingly that, but maybe, I don't know. Good. Okay, let's finish off. We're almost finished here. So you have to stand outside. 12. The im ish anihu, and if he's a poor individual, lo yisishka ba'avaita, don't go to sleep with his security. What does that mean? Right, it's kind of very open-ended. So Rashi says, Sishka ba'avaita, don't sleep with his security. Lo yisishka, do not lie down to go to sleep ba'avaita. It's that his security is in your possession, meaning what?
You don't keep it. Sleep with it means he's keeping it.
No, I don't think that's what it means.
Okay.
I don't, 1 second. Well, he's going to say next verse. Okay, sorry. Next verse. Last verse. Hashiv tashiv loy, return, you shall return it to him. It's avoid kivaya shemish, his security when the sun sets. V'shacha b'simlasai, and he will lie down with his garment. Ulachati tzedakah, and for you it will be tzedakah, meaning it'll be a charity, it'll be a blessing. In other words, lifnei Hashem alekecha, before Hashem your God. Others, you're going to sleep without his security. What's the security? His night clothing. You took during the day his night clothing because he doesn't need it during the day, right? Now comes nighttime, he needs it. Rashi 13, when the sun sets, if it is a night garment, and if it is a day garment, then return it in the morning. And Farkosov, that we already has been written, and we've been told about Ve'el Mishpatim in the Parshas Mishpatim in Shmos. There it says. So I'm sorry. Then in our pasuk over here, what does it mean until the sun sets? Return it to him the entire day, and when the sun sets, take it from him, meaning his daytime clothing you could take at night. His nighttime clothing you have to return it at night, every day. Yeah, and we have to remember that that's all they had to wear. Yeah, if it's a poor person, he had one set of night clothing, one set of day clothing. That's all.
You just give it to him to start for tzedakah. Period.
He lent him money. He wants security for it. Which is he's got a right to have security for his loan, right?
Yeah.
So the guy's poor. He only has one day clothing. He has Shabbos clothing too, but he has Shabbos clothing one set, and he has day clothing for work one set, right?
Yeah.
So in the morning comes, you have to return that to him so he could go to work. Otherwise, he can't go to work, right?
Yeah.
Night, and then you can take the night security, his night clothing, his PJs, right? All right. right?
But these are all the technicalities, what it's really saying, if you look at the flow of what's happening here, it's. You can't strip somebody's dignity. And you can't strip away the things that people need to survive and to be able to function, right?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Regardless of the circumstances, there's limit to what you can or can't do.
Right,
People have to have dignity, privacy, their homes, right, their ability to function at some level. And that's how I read all of Sukkim, beyond the technicalities.
right. So let's just finish the last Rashi. V'rechacha, and he will bless you. God will bless you. Im einam nivarechacha, and if he does not, who's blessing? I think it's a poor person, not God. Someone's going to be v'rechacha. He's going to bless you because you returned it to him. And if he doesn't bless you, mikol makom, nonetheless, for you to be considered an act of righteousness.
Just alone.
Bye, bye-bye.
So why would it? Why? Yes, thank you. So why would it be? Why would it be an act of righteousness if he's going to take his day clothing at night? It sounds like you're not taking it, but seemingly you would be taking it, right?
The work he's putting.
That's and it's
The work he's putting into bringing it, taking it, bringing it, taking it.
I'm not clear on that. All right, folks. Thank you. We'll see you by Tanya.